Hey guys, Gina here. I'm a speech therapist, and today we're talking about the impact of sleep on your child's language and speech development. So, this is really important that your children get sleep. But how much? So, between 1 to 5 years old, your child should be getting about 14 hours of sleep a day. I know it sounds like a whole ton, but don't forget, most children take a nap, probably about 2 hours of napping during the day. So, they should be getting a good 12-hour night of sleep. Oh, don't you wish we had that? But how is it actually going to affect your child? So, when they're getting the sleep, they're helping with language learning, speech development, memory, and attention. So, these are all really important things, especially for your growing little one. So, you really want to make sure that they're getting enough sleep. So, what are some signs to give you an idea that maybe they're not getting enough sleep? You feel like you're sending them to bed, but maybe they're not getting enough sleep. Well, some things you're going to be looking for are they just rubbing their eyes and really sleepy during the day, all day? Or maybe they can't seem to pay attention to anything you're doing, no matter what. If your teachers are reporting lack of attention and is really tired, this could be a sign they're not getting enough sleep at night. There are some other things you might notice. Maybe their tonsils are enlarged. You can look in their mouth, and you will actually be able to see their tonsils and how big they are. So that obstruction could potentially be causing them to stay awake at night. So another thing you can look out for is like maybe a hyponasal speech, which just means they're going to sound like their nose is all stuffy. That could be a sign that they're not getting sleep. And they might even snore at night. So these are the signs and symptoms I want you to be aware of, but what could actually be causing this? So if you're seeing these things, it could be caused by a couple different things. Children naturally have melatonin, but if they have a deficit in it, it could be causing them to have less sleep. Melatonin is actually the agent in our bodies that kind of allow us to sleep. So a doctor can actually even talk to you guys about maybe giving a small dose based on their age. So that's something you could definitely talk to with your doctor. But not just melatonin. The other things we're looking at could be a room temperature. So if it's too hot or too cold, think about yourself at night. Do you sleep really well when it's freezing? Or maybe you have to have that ceiling fan on every night to sleep. So your child's the same way. Make sure you're really paying attention to what you're sending them to bed in, that the clothing is going to keep them warm enough through the night or not get overheated. So those are really important things you have to keep in mind. There's also some sleep disorders that are pretty common in children that you might want to keep an eye out for. Some of the signs of those sleep disorders, though, are the enlarged tonsils or stuffy nose or the snoring. Those all possibly give you an indication. There is one sleep disorder that I know significantly impacts speech, can cause stuttering, all sorts of things. It actually is an obstruction of the airway. So what it does is it causes the baby or child to just it cuts off their breathing or limits it, and they may wake up and kind of breathe like normal and then go back to sleep. And the problem with this is they do it so many times throughout the night, they may not even know what's happening. You may not realize it, but they're not getting that REM cycle. And that's that deep sleep where your brain just kind of takes everything in from the day and it says, oh, let me organize it in the brain. I've learned new things today. So I learned a new word. Let's put it over here. Or today I tried a new food, but I didn't like it. So that goes in this part of the brain. So just all that sorting, that's done during that REM time. And it's so important for your child because at 1 to 5 years old, their brain is just boom. It's just rapidly developing. So we want to make sure that they're getting that sleep. What can you do right away to make sure your child gets a good night rest? So I definitely want to help you with this. The best thing you can do is keep a solid, consistent routine. So what might that look like? You always want to use words and some visuals and teach your child, hey, we're getting ready for bed. So I want you to go brush your teeth. So you'll tell them to go brush their teeth and tell them put their pajamas on. So encourage them to be a part of the bedtime routine. Don't just, here, you're going to bed, brush their teeth and send them. You want them to try to help as much as possible and get an idea, kind of turning on that switch in their brain that it's getting time for me to settle down. So the other thing you can do is just do calm, quieter things during bedtime, even the things you put on TV. I would not recommend like a big action superhero movie right before bedtime because all it's going to do is get their little brains just like, I want to be Superman. Maybe I want to be Batman. And they're going to be thinking up a storm. Like, If you think about it, when you go to bed, you probably do things that are gonna not necessarily impact you for the night. So you're not gonna jump into a big work project right before bed, because if you do, you're gonna stay up all night and just think about it, and you're not gonna sleep, and you're going, oh my gosh, I forgot to do this and I forgot to do that. I should have done that. You're not gonna go grocery shopping right before bed or think of your grocery list right before bed. You're gonna sit down, get a good glass of wine or a cup of milk, and you're gonna sit and just relax. Maybe a decaf cup of tea. I love to just watch The Bachelor or something that I really don't have to think much about, that I'm really just putting on and relaxing. So think of the same thing for your child. This might be reading a book, sitting there, maybe watching something really calm on TV, like a lot of things that might be good to watch are some animal-based programs. They're really just not very, I hate to say it, but thought-provoking. They're more just, they watch the pretty pictures and they settle down. Really soft voices and soothing things. Those are awesome. There are some YouTube channels too, and just videos you can put on. They're great for soothing bedtime starters. So definitely look into that. But the biggest thing is that routine consistency. So do the same thing every single night. You're going to brush your teeth. You're going to put your pajamas on. Maybe, like I mentioned, those bedtime snacks. So maybe you're going to have a glass of warm milk, brush your teeth, get on your jammies, and then you want to go to bed and maybe rock them or read a story, sing a bedtime song, and then you expect them to go to bed. So turn on their nightlight, turn on their sound machine, maybe a dehumidifier, especially for that stuffy nose little one, and just kind of ease them into that routine every single night. Same thing. We're going to do the same thing every night. Let them be a part of it. And then if they do wake up throughout the night, I recommend you don't go in there. A lot of voice monitors now have voice machines, and you can communicate from the room to your child's room, and you can say, I think you're supposed to be in bed right now. That's what we do with our little one a lot. And I love you, but I want you to go to sleep. Mommy wants you to get your sleep. And I recommend not going in, because the interaction, that face-to-face interaction, is really going to disrupt them. So having the routine is the best thing you can do. And then some good bedtime foods. Things you want to avoid before bed, snack times. Oh my goodness. Nothing overly sugary, which is funny because I mentioned honey, but honey is more of a natural sugar. It releases chemicals in the body that will allow them to sleep. But anything overly sugary, so like cereals, things like that, I would stay clear of cereals and things if you can. And definitely avoid salty things. Just these chemicals in your body, they really can just stir up your child and kind of create that, bouncy, and they're all over the place. So I definitely recommend talking to your doctor if you're seeing this sooner versus later. I know it seems like, for me, I've always been one of those people at first that was like, let's just wait it out and see if it'll get better on its own. I don't really want to go into the doctors. I know it's kind of a hassle, but if you talk to your doctors right away, they could provide a dose of melatonin, maybe really small doses if you're comfortable with it, and adjust it as needed. And then your child early on will be just growing their language in their sleep. Language, speech, memory, and attention. These things are so important, especially early on, especially while they're taking in so many new things. I've talked to you guys before about the fact that their speech and their language, which is all the words that they're taking in and understanding and communicating, they just grow drastically from the age of 1 to 2 years old. They're growing so much. And then around 3 years old, your children are starting to have short sentences, and 4 and 5, they're talking up a storm, and you want to just keep that growing and improving. So the sooner you talk to your doctor, the better. And the sooner that you figure out what's going on, you're providing a solution. You're keeping their brains growing fast and strong, and you're helping encourage great language learning and growth. So if you guys have questions, I know I kind of just threw a whole ton of stuff at you guys today. I really want you to comment down below. But the biggest things that I just want to stress is how much sleep has an impact on your child's learning and your child's growth. So really make sure they're getting that 14 hours of sleep a day. If they're going to schools or at home, make sure they're getting the 2-hour nap and that 12-hour bedtime. Try and keep it consistent and routine, and then avoid some certain foods. But whatever you're doing, you're helping your child. So talk to your doctors early and comment below if you have questions for me. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.